that's one of those games where, look, it was a massive blown chance to turn a circumstances loss, like all the circumstances said that they were going to lose, and then all of a sudden it looked like they were going to win, and they bumble that away on just plays that make you scratch your head. I mean, really, the fact that Klay Thompson watched someone shoot a three instead of chasing him off a three-point line, I just don't get it. How you get caught sleeping in no man's land, I don't get it. And then for Poole to get his pocket picked, was he fouled? Yeah. But you got to be better than that. And that's one of those losses where they probably thought the damn win was in the barn. And then I'm guessing there was as much stunned silence in that locker room in the first 10 minutes of walking in there as we've had in the Warriors locker room in a while. That's one of those, how the hell did that happen? What the hell just happened in the last 14 seconds of this basketball game? That was something else.
Yeah, it's another reminder that without Wiggins, Curry, and Draymond Green, they're not great at finishing. They have to learn that. I mean, Poole's got to protect the ball better. Did he get bumped around? Yeah, but that call's not going to be made at that point in the game. It's your job to protect the ball, first of all, and then make them foul you while holding on to it. Thompson getting lost on the exchange. I guess I'm not as surprised because I did not expect Alexander Walker to kick the ball out. I thought he was going to go to the basket. That said, I haven't been playing defense in the NBA for 12 years. So, and Thompson copped to it. So,
well, the situation is let him go to the basket. Let him go. I mean, literally invite him to the orange rim.
Oh, no, all I'm saying is what my reaction was.
Yeah.
I mean, Thompson said he made the wrong play, and in hindsight, that's clearly true. But the Warriors never used to lose games by not being able to protect the possession and then protect the ball. I mean, that's something that a team without their three core players has to learn to do. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're 13-13, because everybody who isn't part of that core is either struggling, as Thompson is, or hasn't had enough experience at that to figure it out. And which means that they are relative neophytes.
Jordan Poole was having himself a pretty darn good game right up until he coughed it up in the worst possible time. Jonathan Kuminga absolutely had one of his best games of his young career last night. It's a shame that didn't translate into a win. But you're right, Klay. You know, he never runs from something he did wrong. He owned it.
Oh, thank you for letting me recollect such a great moment of the game. I just fell asleep. I didn't watch the ball handler get to the rim rather than sticking on the three-point shooter. And that was a dreadful mistake by myself.
There you go. I mean, I always appreciate Klay's honesty. Look, I think that this team might have to be a little more honest with itself and say that just modus operandi, the way we've gone about things in the past, no longer applies to the season that we're in. And the whole, we would never take Klay Thompson out of the starting lineup. They don't have the luxury to be that stubborn anymore. I really don't think that they do. The Warriors, they're certainly not having the type of the year where they can, afford to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. That's exactly what they did last night. That was a tough one, and that was a rough one. And all I can tell you is that things probably ain't getting better anytime soon. The Warriors got the Celtics on Saturday at Chase Center. Wiggins already ruled out. I'm calling that a loss. Yeah, I'm sorry. The benefit of the doubt that I wanted to give you at home across the board sort of washed away after that Pacers loss.
Well,
so that feels
not
like
to
a
mention,
loss.
I don't mean to interrupt, but what the Celtics did to the Suns last night in Phoenix, too.
I didn't even notice that. What did they do?
They were ahead by 45 at one point and took the foot off the brake and only won by 27.
The Boston Celtics are the best team in basketball right now.
And it's not close.
They're the best team in basketball right now. They have a world-class offense and a defense that isn't quite what it was last year, but doesn't need to be because they're running one of the more efficient offenses ever right now. So they're probably losing at home on Saturday. And then you got yourself a unkind road trip with two back-to-backs and dates in Milwaukee, Indiana, Philadelphia, Toronto, New York, and Brooklyn before you come back home to Chase Center to play the Grizzlies on Christmas Day. Again, that's a 7-game stretch where 2-5 feels like an absolute reality, to the point where if you sold me a losing record at 3-4 right now, I would run to the window to buy it. And I think the Warriors would too. I think that they know something ain't right. I mean, they have to, right? I mean, come on. They have to. They're trying to play it cool. They're trying to remain calm. And part of leadership is keeping your cool while others lose their cool around you. But this just, it ain't fitting. It ain't fitting. And then you lose like you lose last night, and then you got the whole sort of, it just feels like it ain't going to be your year hanging over this team with a lot of year left in it. But as they're currently built, I don't think they got a shot to be an NBA champion. That's for sure. Not the way that they're built. Not the way that they're playing. So Bob Myers needs to start getting on these telephones. A deal needs to be done if this team's going anywhere this year based on who they are right now. And who they are right now could be 13-20 after this coming up road trip. I mean, they're just not right. That's obvious. And the whole luxury of, well, we're not going to play Clay on back-to-backs, and we're going to give Steph the nights off when he needs them, and we're going to err on the side of caution over here and over here, over here. You don't have that luxury anymore. The Warriors do not have the, we're really good, we can overcome anything luxury anymore. They just do not have it. They need to start playing with a sense of urgency. They need to ask their players who have given them so much over the years to even give more right now. There is, I don't want to hear about, well, we can't play Steph this much this year because he's got these years remaining on his contract. Stop it. Stop it. This team needs a dramatic change of direction, and they need it now. They can't afford to wait until we'll see who we are around the All-Star break. We'll see you around Valentine's Day. We'll reevaluate then. You should be reevaluating right now. And the evaluation is, this ain't even close to being good enough.
Oh, I think they know that, first of all. And I think they have been evaluating. But the truth is, there are so many guys on this roster who are not going to be able to turn around the things that they're not doing well yet. I mean, they are just now getting Kuminga up to speed. Just now. And how long has that taken? This is going to be a long and agonizing process, not because they're taking their time and putting their feet up, but because those guys are going to advance at the pace they advance at. And rushing them, doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it worse. It's just they're going to get it when they get it and not before. Weissman may never get it. Moody is a work in progress. Poole gives you with one hand and takes it away from you with the other. That's the nature of this roster right now, and it's not through lack of trying that the Warriors would like them to be more efficient. They're just not, and it's going to take a while, and it is going to take probably till Valentine's Day, not because they're diddling around, but because that's the pace at which this is happening.
Steve Kerr on the last 15 seconds of last night's game.
You watched. You're asking me what happened. You just watched the game. We didn't take care of the ball. We turned it over, and they took the game. And it's a shame because our guys did a lot of great stuff. I thought to that point they really fought and earned the right to win the game. And then we didn't close it. You got to close it. You got to be rock solid with the ball. You got to be smart defensively. We were neither of those things the last 13 seconds.
Talked about what it was like in that locker room last night. Here's Steve Kerr on that.
In my experience, there's one game like this every year where you just leave the building saying, what just happened? It happened to us last year, a couple of them. Last year, home games against Denver and Indiana, where we gave up tying three against Indiana and a game-winning 3 against Denver, where you make mistakes down the stretch and you just leave the arena and you're just shaking your head. You're thinking, how did we just let that happen? So as a team, as a staff, it's important that we move on. So you learn from it, watch the tape, see what you need to do better. Can't leave a three-point shooter up 6 seconds left, whatever it was, when the game plan is to not give up threes. We relaxed. We give up a 3, and then we got to take care of the ball. If you know they're coming, we got to chest that ball. We didn't take care of those things down the stretch. Like I said, I feel terrible for our guys because they fought. They did a lot of great things, but we have to close the door. This is a hard league. Everybody's good. Everybody's got great players, and we didn't close the door.
Look, he's right. You do have 1 or 2 of those what the hell just happened games. They just had those games back to back. That's the problem with the Warriors. 888-957-9570. Damon and Ratto. We are on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/957 The Game and see the glorious presentation of 2 physical specimens talking sports in a high action film that is 2 guys sitting in a studio. Scintillating, right?
I wouldn't watch it if I were you.
This is Zach in San Francisco. Zach, thanks for the call. What do you got?
So I would make a couple points. I think you're being a little dramatic, I think, with the outcome of this game, because if you look at I'd say 2 things. If you look at their last 15 games to say where they're at, because I think the first half of the season, there's a lot of reasons why they were playing. Their backups were not doing well. There's a number of other things. Kuminga wasn't playing, but they're 7th in offensive rating. They're 8th in defensive rating, and overall net rating, they're like 4th. So they certainly have a lot of the pieces. Their starting 5 is the top scoring starting 5 in the league. Starting 4 is up there as well. And so it really comes down to they have this issue where the backups are not holding their own and they're losing games. And then they also have Steve Kerr sitting so many people so often. I mean, he sat 4 people in New Orleans and handed away the game. He sat the people last night. I don't know if Curry could have played or not, probably, and, made it a lot tougher. And he, frankly, was the guy that got mad at Wiseman early, and he seems to have a record of getting mad at big guys and sort of just sitting them. He did it with JaVale McGee a few years ago, and suddenly the guy's sitting, never getting any time, and kind of took away Wiseman's confidence to some extent. He sat Kuminga for a long time. Kuminga has always been the best bench player on defense we have. He's the most athletic. He's the strongest. He's the best jumper. He can, get his own, he can attack the rim. There's a lot of things to like about him. So if you're not going to have Wiggins, he's at least an okay substitute on the defensive end. He's not on the same on the offensive end, but he's definitely a substitute on the defensive end. And even in that game last night, why is Ty Jerome inbounding the ball? It makes no sense. The guy's doesn't play. He's never going to see the floor in a playoff game. So what's he doing having him inbound the ball? Have Looney inbound the ball. Have Clay, Clay could have come and got the ball. It didn't have to be, it didn't have to be Poole. But I don't think it's as bad as what you think. But they definitely, every year they have this issue. The starters are winning, and the bench has to keep the lead. They just have to keep
right. All the bench needs to do is allow this team to tread water. Whatever lead is built up by the starting 5, which is one of the best offenses in basketball, the bench gives it right back. Not some of the time, all of the time. I mean, really, a little overreacting, maybe. But, man, I'm just telling you, I got basketball eyes. My basketball eyes do not like what they see from this basketball team, man. I'm not very impressed. Not very impressed. And you can't be. They aren't. And they got to be a little concerned, man. They got to be a little concerned. They really have to be. There's plenty of options, that are out there that could maybe change things around for this team. Will they have the guts to make a trade that hurts if they have to? I don't think that they should be loyal to anyone on this team not named Steph Curry. Steph Curry is literally the only guy who ultimately matters the most. So whatever you got to do, whoever's feelings needs to be hurt, whoever minutes needs to go up or down, or whoever position as a starter needs to be rendered to the bench, or vice versa, other way around. I'm going to pull the old, I don't like it politically, but in sports sometimes I have to F your feelings. I don't care whose feelings get hurt anymore. And the whole thing, James Wiseman, man. James, they had to send him to go play in hiding to get his confidence back. Then they bring him back and they give him 5 minutes. Whatever confidence James Wiseman might have been glomming onto in the G League was probably stripped off him with paint thinner last night.
But this isn't about James Wiseman. He got called up because they were down 3 guys. It wasn't because they declared him cured. I mean, it's a matter of, okay, we're calling you up because we got an emergency.
Well, here's the thing. So use Patrick Baldwin Jr. then for your an emergency.
He's clearly not even remotely close to being ready to be a part of a close game on the road yet.
He's more ready than the guy in the G League, Ray.
They're place fillers. That's the point. There's a huge chasm between their starters with Poole in the middle of that and then everybody else who doesn't help. And only now is Kuminga being part of that. This is not going to happen in a hurry. It's not going to happen at the pace that the Warriors want. They got stuck in a weird way, the same way the Giants did, thinking their young guys were ready before they were. And it's going to take longer than they want it to, which means you're going to have games like this where they fall behind, they have to scramble like hell to get back, and then sometimes they'll barf all over themselves at the end. This is who they are right now. And it's not because there's some sort of, ignorance about, this guy needs fewer minutes. Who are you going to give the minutes to if you sit Klay Thompson last night? Is it Dante DiVincenzo? Of course not.
Moses Moody.
Why? What's he done?
I don't know. That's the point. Let's find out.
But it's not a matter of let's find out. It's a matter of they're 10th.
No,
they've got
They don't got no time. They got no time to wait for everything to be perfect.
It's 26 games in. And whatever else you want to say about how much time they have.
So if these games are disposable, wouldn't it be a good idea to give minutes that are so disposable in your estimation?
No, they're not disposable. That's my point. If Moses Moody were ready to play more than 18 minutes on one of his really available nights, don't you think he would play more? I think that's the problem, is that their bench doesn't provide them with the flexibility to say, well, Klay doesn't have it tonight. Let's play him 23 minutes and we could play Moody 25. I mean, they see this better than we do. I think their problem is they don't have stuff that they can put into the starting 5, or not even the starting 5, just the 5 on the floor. That's what the problem's been all year long. It's you've got 5 guys, then you've got Poole in the middle, and then you've got 5 guys you can't trust yet. And that's their problem.
That's not a good problem to have.
No, it's not a good problem to have, which is why they struggle.
When half your roster is untrustable?
Yeah, or at least under-trustable. I mean, last night, Kuminga, who is earning his minutes,
he is,
no question,
getting better,
gets 29. DiVincenzo gets 28. Did he do anything material to make a difference? Yeah, he had 7 assists, 9 rebounds, but did he make a material difference in the game? Did you go, yeah, DiVincenzo is really making a difference tonight? No, not really. Lamb.
I mean, he's got 3 steals in the game. Here's the thing: whatever the Warriors' bench problems are, I'm not including Dante DiVincenzo in those problems. I'm really not. He's at least. Here's the thing: how many NBA players are on this team? How many
defined NBA players? That's a serious question.
So I'm not just saying you cash an NBA paycheck, but
I understand that. That's why I want to know how are you defining this?
Can really contribute and help you out in an NBA game. I mean, Ty Jerome is not that guy. Anthony Lamb felt like in moments he can be that guy, but again, they're counting way too much on a two-way player. And why is he a two-way player if you're counting on him that much? What is Ryan Rollins? What is Patrick Baldwin Jr.? We don't know. What is Moses Moody? We don't know. I mean, that's the thing. We got to start finding out. And if you got to lose a few games along the way on finding out who these guys are, so be it. Because you're losing games anyways. Is I guess my point.
But I don't think
if you're 13-13, nothing really matters.
But it's not a matter of what you think. It's a matter of what they think. And I think they've already made judgments on these guys about where they are right now. It's that they can't trust them with more minutes.
They don't have a choice, I guess.
Well,
so then,
I think they
Steph
do
Curry
have a
needs to play
choice.
45 minutes. That's it.
Well,
Then you got to turn around and say, Steph, Clay, you're never coming off the court. Draymond, no, you're constantly playing. Kevon Looney, 48 minutes a night.
But Ty Jerome is not playing at all if Curry's in the lineup. And JaMychal Green's not, but you're going to see 5 minutes if Wiggins is playing.
And that's another thing. They
point.
signed him to be a lot more than he's been terrible.
He's not been good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is when you sit your 3 of your 4 best guys because they're hurt or whatever, they don't have the depth to make up for that. So that when they are available, you're not going to see much of these guys until they show that they're worthy of it. And so far, I mean, I'll give you that DiVincenzo will give you some minutes. And Kuminga's the only other guy who looks like he's starting to get the pace and understanding of the game that they require. These other guys, I don't know that you could trust them night in and night out.